It all began on what seemed like an ordinary night. I crawled into bed, my mind replaying the day's events, and drifted off to sleep. But when I woke up the next morning, something felt off. The room was the same. Everything looked familiar, yet there was a nagging sense that something was missing. Everything around me felt so real, but it was as if there was a veil hiding something just beyond my perception. I didn't know what it was, but the unease grew stronger with each passing minute. As I sat down for breakfast, slicing through my bread with a knife, I noticed something peculiar. The knife felt dull, almost as if it was just gliding through the bread without any resistance. Everything seemed as it should, yet somehow it felt wrong. People's faces appeared slightly blurred, their voices just a notch too muffled. But reality was still there, lurking just beneath the surface. When I stepped outside to head to work, the strangeness intensified. At the office, I settled into my chair, ready to tackle the day. And then it happened. An email popped up on my screen, and it was different from all the others. The subject line read, "Are you really awake?" I froze. Who sent this? Was it a joke? My heart raced as I stared at the screen. I clicked on the message, but it was empty, devoid of any content. Just as I was trying to make sense of it, my phone rang. The screen displayed no number, only a single word. Wake. I looked at the screen, paralyzed with fear, and hung up without answering. Deep down, I felt these messages were meant for me, but I couldn't share that with anyone. I went through the motions of the day, returning home that evening, and climbed into bed again. I closed my eyes, hoping for a fresh start in the morning. But when I woke up, it was like hitting the replay button. The same messages, the same faces, the same routine. My mind began to fracture. Days turned into a loop, and I found myself trapped in a cycle of monotony. Each morning brought the same breakfast, the same work, and the same haunting question. Are you really awake? I could feel my grip on reality slipping. Was this a dream, or was it real? But the more I questioned my reality, the more the people around me seemed to look at me differently. One day, I boarded the subway, and everyone was staring at me with identical expressions. No one spoke. They just fixed their eyes on me. My heart raced, and I felt the urge to escape. But there was nowhere to go. The train didn't move. It felt like time had come to a standstill. Then, a man approached me. He had no face, just a void where features should have been. He leaned in and whispered, "Reality is as real as you want it to be. But when you don't want to wake up, you'll be stuck here forever." I tried to scream, to run, but no sound escaped my lips. It was as if the entire world was watching me, paralyzed. When the subway doors finally opened, I bolted out, running without a destination, only desperate to escape that moment. Eventually, I grew weary of living the same day over and over. I made a decision. I would respond to that email. I typed out a simple reply. "No, I'm not awake." I hit send and waited. For what felt like an eternity, nothing happened. It was as if the world had come to a halt. Then suddenly my screen went black. My computer shut down, the lights flickered, and my home was engulfed in darkness. In that moment, I realized this was more than just a dream. I was trapped in a snare. The boundaries of reality were non-existent because reality didn't belong to me. I felt as if I were under someone's control. Voices began to emerge, not from the outside, but from within my mind. They beckoned me, whispering, "It's time to wake up." That night, I woke up again. But this awakening was different. I sat up in bed, and everything appeared normal. Yet, there was still something missing. In the back of my mind, that voice echoed louder. "Reality is as real as you want it to be. But when you don't want to wake up, you'll be stuck here forever." In that moment, I understood that I might never truly awaken. I couldn't distinguish between what was real and what was a figment of my imagination. Everything had spiraled into a loop. So I ask you, are you really awake? Or are you too caught in an endless cycle like I was? If you're still here, listening, maybe one day you'll find yourself grappling with that same question. Am I really awake? This could just be a story, or perhaps it's a reflection of your own reality. If you're not afraid to ask that question, hit subscribe. Because here, I'll share many more stories that will challenge your perception of reality. Remember, reality is as real as it's shown to you. And here, I'll push the boundaries of what you think you know.